Thing up and go.
What up, y'all? Real Fans Podcast, back at it again. We've been out on hiatus. I took a little quick vacation to Puerto Rico. Shout outs to JoJo. Happy birthday, JoJo. Birthday just passed. He just came back from a trip. But we're here to give you all the news and going on in sports today. I'm here with a couple people. Y'all know my dog Julian. Say what up to the people.
The usual. Gabe is.
And we have a.
I'll go. Yeah, you good.
And special guest, probably the number one fan of the Real Fans Podcast. Got my dog, Destin here. Destin, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, people?
Back up.
Yeah, I got to back up.
Me? For JoJo. No, not for you.
Oh.
You're here.
I was like,
you back up for JoJo because JoJo said he can't this week. So
because y'all be complaining my face is too big. I'm too close to them. Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
you got a big ass dome. I'm not gonna lie.
Destin, just let people know, like, kind of what's your favorite teams. If you played any sports when you were young, just kind of like what's your vibe.
Yeah. Sports teams, all Miami teams, Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes for sure. Panthers, Marlins. Sports growing up, played volleyball in high school, and then played a bunch of like basketball like tournaments and like summer league and stuff like that. Played football here and there, like just recreational. And then played racquetball here and there, but
you played basketball too, right?
Yeah, played basketball.
Yeah.
Not high school or anything like that, but just like more for picking and stuff like that. Yeah.
I've never actually played racquetball. I always see people play it. How do you play it? Like what? Like it's just like kind of like tennis almost. Like
you're hitting against the wall, and then you only get one bounce like off the floor, and then you got to hit the ball. So if the ball hits the floor twice, then it counts as against you, or it
like
just
tennis.
But
do you play like to a certain points, or is it like each point a certain score or something like how does that work exactly?
Yeah, so when you're serving, you only get points on your serve. So you're either playing offensive defense. So if I'm serving and I hit the ball off the wall, and then you try getting the ball, you miss it, and then the ball hits twice on the ground, I get a point. But if you receive back and you hit the wall, and I miss the ball, it's your turn to serve. So now it's your turn to try to get points.
And it's like what, the first 10 to 10?
Yeah, like you can doesn't matter. We go to like 11 sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's just it's kind of like tennis almost.
Yeah.
Does it count the sidewall too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if it hits the front wall, then the side wall?
Well, so yeah, you want to hit it off the back wall, and then after the back wall, it can hit anywhere else.
As long as it doesn't hit the floor twice.
Yeah, hit the floor twice. Yeah. And there's a line in the back, so if it goes past that line, like so the ball hits the line inside like the court and then goes outside, you still have to hit it. But if the ball goes outside, it's your point because it was inside the court.
It's like going foul or some shit.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never played. I mean, I was around racquetball courts, but I never like. I think that's big in like New York. I wish Georgia was here because he could probably talk about racquetball, handball, and shit like that. Because
they really go that hard up there for racquetball?
I think he played handball.
I did not know that. Yeah. I mean, I see people in LA Fitness going hard.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good cardio.
Yeah,
I guess.
But let's get into the sports news because last time we went live, it was an NFL draft. So we did a live stream of the NFL draft, and it was just me and Julian kind of going over the NFL drafts, kind of the draft picks one by one. That thing was like 4 hours long, Julian. Like we were there.
That was longer than I expected. Yeah,
we didn't get out to like midnight or some shit, bro.
Yeah, because we started at like 8, and then it was like almost a 4-hour stream. That was longer than I anticipated because it was like where the drag started was about like round 15, and I'm like, shit, this is like taking a minute. Because then
I was getting sleepy, dog.
Because I think the first 10 picks, everybody's like, you got an idea who you're getting. So you kind of run through the first 5, and then from there, you kind of. I think 15 is where like a lot of teams start really getting thinking about what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I think for the first type 10 picks should be fast, boom, 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 because we all know. But I think a lot of the times it's a spectacle. They have to sell these commercials. They have to sell you fucking potato chips and the newest Audi or some shit. So they gotta drag that shit out as long as they fucking can. So I don't know. How'd you feel about the draft, Destin? Like, were you watching at all?
Yeah, I was watching. I was actually I joined your the live stream for a little bit. I was saying some stuff on there.
But number one fan here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was like you guys said, the first like 10 picks, I think it should have been done like quick. Like the Jags pick, come on, man. It's like
I
the
was
entire
actually, I was actually watching like how on like YouTube every team they show like the war room when they're about to like do the pick or whatever. Apparently, like when they called Trevor Lawrence, they said, "All right, the pick's gonna go in at 2 minutes." Like according to NFL, we have to wait till 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes, and then you can do it. It's just airtime, man. It's free advertising. And it makes sense for the teams because it's like, especially like the Jaguars, it's like that's 10 minutes of just free advertising. Like, go ahead, like you spend as much time as you want, get your
hype up the team. Maybe some people will watch. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You see your needs, you see your top players, you see everything. You know, so I mean, it makes sense, but I do wish it was a little faster.
Yeah.
So we went through as far as like teams. I know Julian's a big Jags fan. Julian, how do you feel about your draft picks overall as far as the Jags drafting? Like what they needed and what they got?
Well, we pretty much got literally everything we needed, including a franchise quarterback that we have not had in 20 years, maybe. It's been about close to it since like the Mark Brunell days in the early 2000s. It's been a long time, and like, man, I Jags Twitter and like all my friends back home and everybody is just like, you would have thought we won the Super Bowl. I swear, like just the reaction and everything, you would have thought we won the fucking Super Bowl, which hopefully will soon. But and then the second pick, everybody was a little confused at first drafting Travis Etienne, but like after thinking about it and sitting on it, you know, it kind of makes sense. Like, you know, have a 1-2 punch at running back with James Robinson. I think it'll work. I think it'll be good. And then you're bringing in the familiarity between Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne both being at Clemson, and you're having that speed, and you're just adding another weapon. And we should be really good this year on offense. And then after that, they pretty much went the deck on defense, except for one offensive guard. But our one glaring hole is tight end, and it might be filled by somebody who might not be that good, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, Destin, how'd you feel about the Dolphins draft? Like, what did you think about, you know, how they went about getting their draft picks and who they actually got for what they needed, and you know who they picked actually?
I really didn't care about like the first round pick. He's amazing and all that, like, but I think we had like other priorities to fill up, you know, as in like position wise. Like always, I think we always should go offensive line because we can never protect your quarterback, you know. Quarterback always gets destroyed on our team. Like we always get a good quarterback or we have a decent quarterback, and then he can never survive the entire season because he gets just drilled. Our line sucks always, you know. They're never healthy. So yeah, I wasn't too like happy about the pick, but I mean, it was a good pick. I was really happy about the second pick because
you wanted Penei Sewell.
Yeah, I wanted him. Yeah,
I was surprised the second pick.
Yeah, the second pick, Jalen Phillips, man, I love that pick. That was a great pickup from you know. I was gonna ask you, Julian, what I mean, with that, I forgot you guys had that running back. What's his name, Robinson?
Yeah, James Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah. Surprised you guys didn't pick up a tight end though with that second pick though.
The thing is, like after Kyle Pitts, there was really nothing except for this guy from Penn State named Pat Fryermuth, but he wasn't worth the 25th pick. He was more like a second round, like a late second round guy. But the thing is, we had first pick in the second round as well. And then our second pick in the second round was pretty early. It was, I think, 40 or something like that. So it was just like, yeah, I don't know. I think things just didn't line up. We weren't able to sign any tight ends in free agency because of the Patriots took them all. And now, but I think, like I said, I remember seeing everybody like so confused of why we picked ETN because we had Robinson. But it's like, you know, I could see us doing like what Cleveland does between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, just kind of having this nice 1-2 punch and just like moving the ball.
I forget, was he the first one to go? Because I know they went back-to-back. Etienne and Najee
Harris went to Pittsburgh first, which I
he
thought was a good pickup by Pittsburgh. That's what they needed. That was a good pick.
Honestly.
Yeah, I was waiting. Yeah, I was hoping.
Honestly, but I was kind of happy though. But I was kind of disappointed.
Got to replace Van Noy.
Yeah, but I think as far as Etienne, I mean, he was those were the top two running backs, and I feel like, you know, once, you know, there's only two of them available. Once you see one go, like if you feel like there's value in there, like obviously you need to pick up. You know, those are not bad first draft picks. Obviously they could have picked somebody else, but like you said, maybe there's not. But you know, that wasn't better options at tight end, so you go for it. You just got to pick the best players, I guess, whoever's available. You know what I mean? If you feel like there's only two good running backs and one of them's gone, you got a chance to pick, then take the running back.
I don't think they would take Najee Harris. Najee Harris is a different type of runner. He's more of a power downhill guy. ETN's going to be your receiving back. He's going to, like, I think no matter what, unless Pittsburgh took him, I think they would have went a completely different route. I don't think they would have picked Najee Harris because it's not. Najee Harris is basically James Robinson. He's the same guy. Versus like ETN is a guy you can line up outside or in the slot and like he can go deep and make slants and like kind of be an Alvin Kamara, which is what we're all hoping for. Because if he could be an Alvin Kamara, that'd be amazing. Like like Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. Yeah, led the ACC in rushing. Like, bro, like
I think he was ETN was probably the better running back in my opinion. I mean,
the funny thing is I convinced Gabe for the longest time because I was telling Gabe forever. I was like, don't pick Devonta Smith. I was like, do not get him. Like, you do not want him. I was like, no, you don't want him. He's too small. He's not going to be a number one guy. He's a good guy if you're a slot. Like, if you just want, like, if you already have an established number one, then go get him. But the Dolphins don't because Devonta Parker he's a number two. He just is. He's not a number one guy. He's a number two. You pick up Will Fuller, who you can't really trust because, I mean, he's good when he plays, but he's always injured. So we'll see. I was like, if Jamar Chase isn't there, you got to get Waddle. Like, you got to get, and they did. And I think for the exact same reason, I was like, you got to get Waddle. And then
I think as we got closer and closer to the draft, I got less and less attached to Devonta Smith. That's because I was like, well, you know, there was a possibility of like 4 quarterbacks going like the top 4 picks. And I was like, man, if this guy falls, if Kyler Pitts falls, he's a bigger, you know, he has bigger size.
I was on that first, actually. Yeah. If Kyle Pitts was there, I thought the Dolphins should grab him.
But here's the thing. So, Destin, jump in here with this. So, obviously, we know the first draft pick went to Waddle. And just to let me backtrack. So, I was very attached to Devonta Smith, but I was like, yo, if they go Chase or if they go Pitts or if they go Waddle, I feel perfectly fine. Those are better wide receivers. And if they're available, you should get them. So, but Destin, how do you feel about Miami was at number 3? So, how do you feel about that Waddle pick, meaning that they went down from number 3 to 12 and then back up to 6? You know, they could have had Pitts if they wanted him they could have had Pitts at 3, but obviously they traded down to get more picks. How do you feel about possibly getting Kyle Pitts over or some other person over Waddle, who they ultimately picked?
I mean, it was, I don't know, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't too bad because I mean, like they got more picks out of it, first round picks out of it, so they can get someone next year, you know, or they can get someone free agency. So like it wasn't a bad decision, honestly. Like getting Waddle, like there was nothing wrong with Waddle. I just prefer another position over, you know, a wide receiver. Like you can like I think the Ravens, they drafted a wide receiver, right? But they just signed, I don't know if you saw, they just ended up signing Lamar Jackson's high school wide receiver.
Really?
Yesterday.
Yeah, I know they drafted what's his name? Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. But I was beating that trade back drum for the Dolphins forever. Like, I was like, as soon as I saw the Dolphins lined up at 3, Gabe said, no, you got to stay there and just draft them. I'm like, hell no, dude. There's no point. Somebody's going to come up to get a QB. Like, they just are. Like, you got to trade back. Yeah. And when I first saw 12, I'm like, 12 is kind of far back. But I was like, all right. And then
they jumped up right away.
Yeah. And then 30 minutes later, you jump up to 6, which is perfect. But you know what's funny is you stay at 12. Devonta Smith ended up going at 12 to the Eagles. So they ended up probably getting the guy they wanted all along anyways, because if they would have stayed at 6, they probably would have drafted him as well. So it all kind of worked out for everybody.
He's going to be the next Deshaun Jackson for the Eagles over there.
Yeah, he might. That's kind of Deshaun Jackson. That's exactly like the perfect like comparison, I think. I don't know, upside. That or he could be a bum. One of the two.
All right. So that was an NFL draft. I feel pretty satisfied that as far as the Dolphins. How
about your late round draft? Did you care about any of the late round picks, like second, third?
I'm glad. Yeah, I mean they got they got a corner?
They got a tight end.
Tight end.
They got a tight end. They got a lineman. They did get a safety.
Yeah. I think they picked correctly. I think because as the draft was going along,
tight end. Did you guys get Brevin Jordan? He's the one with that guy has fucking bricks for hands. That guy can't catch. That guy has bricks for hands. I don't know why that guy was rated so high. Like I was looking at it because we needed a tight end, so I was just kind of like glancing through and looking at like film from all the different tight ends. I was like, that guy fucking sucks, dude. I was like, why is he rated so high?
He dropped in the draft. Like he dropped. Yeah. They had him high up there. But then the guy right above that the Dolphins drafted, which is the second tight end in the draft. He had like second reception yard. Or
was it Hunter Long? Is that who you guys got?
Yeah, Hunter Long. That's his name. Yeah.
Hey, that's good. I mean, him and Gesicki, he doesn't have to be forced to be like the number one tight end. You already kind of have your guy there. He could sit behind them and then do maybe 2 tight end sets and stuff like that. It works out.
Blocker. Yeah.
But overall, the draft, pretty satisfied with it. But over this past weekend, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yesterday.
Yes, Wednesday.
The NFL draft. The NFL schedule came out over the weekend. And it was kind of a big event on Twitter. I'm very big and heavy on Twitter. And, every team kind of, they hyped it up. They're like, oh, at 8 o'clock, we're going to reveal the whole schedule. And every team kind of had like their own little video. I don't know if you saw. Like,
they've done that. They've done that for years. Yeah, they've done that for years.
The Dallas one?
No, I didn't see the Dallas one.
Yeah, you should go check the Dallas one. Jerry Jones is playing beer pong with Post Malone.
Oh, really? I gotta check that one. You know who always has like one of the best like content marketing teams is the Carolina Panthers. Every year they have a really good video. Every year.
The one I was most upset with is the Bills, because I saw the Bills. I follow some people who are, they're fans of the Bills, and so is JoJo. Shout out. Go Buffalo.
Go Buffalo.
I think he's a Broncos fan.
No, he's a Bills fan.
Yeah, because he's from Buffalo.
Definitely a Bills fan. He's from Buffalo. They were very. It was very disrespectful, just because we play. I think we play the Bills. Obviously, Bills are in our conference, and we play them, and they did like a blow up thing. I think they played the Steelers, and they had like the yellow towel. It didn't say anything on it. Just a yellow towel, and the guy mowing the lawn, and he mowed over the towel, and the towel shred, and I was like Pittsburgh Steelers. And they had like a dolphin. They had a blow up dolphin. The guy blowing it up until it popped, and like Miami Dolphins. And then that was very disrespectful, very slight. I think they had one for the Texans. They had like Woody, Woody from Toy Story. They put him on a rocket, whatever, and he fucking flew off and exploded. And they're like Houston Texans. I mean, so. It's creative. I mean, I saw Miami's. I think Miami's was super subtle.
I was gonna say super
subtle.
Kind of whack, honestly. Like I
thought it was like the pictures that they had in the background were kind of whack to me. I
thought it was just so boring. There's nothing unique about each team. Like one thing I noticed, like every time they announce like the team you're gonna face, it's usually something unique about it.
I think there was some subtle hits. I think there was some subtle hits in there.
Jaguars was pretty funny. I was actually kind of impressed because last year's theirs sucked. Because this year they did like a bunch of newspaper, and they took the meme like Florida Man, and it's like Florida Man does this, but whatever they did is related to like what the team we were gonna face. So it was like kind of subtle. So you had to like think about it. So it'd be like Florida Man fights dolphin or some shit like that, and then it'd be, and then it'll have the date of the game and and everything in like the newspaper headline.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I also saw on Twitter somebody put out like a strength of schedule, and I think Dolphins were kind of on the easier side of the schedule. Julian, how did yours come out?
Actually, I can pull up PFF. They actually have because I sent it to my dad to look at it. So right now, what PFF Pro Football Focus, their top 5 easiest schedules it's the 49ers, the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Colts, and the Eagles. Those are the top 5.
Which, I mean, I guess, you're Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I guess
I don't know how the 49ers have the easiest just for the fact that they're in the NFC West. Like, how did they have the easiest schedule?
Well, I mean, obviously,
there's 6 games right there that are playoff teams. Seattle, Rams, and Arizona. Yeah. You got to play them twice.
But it must be, it's got to be the other conference teams. Obviously, you're going to play your division twice.
Because they're averaging it down, so.
Yeah. And that's just for right now, because you never know what could happen. Injuries.
There could be a team that comes out of nowhere, like, I mean, they're going based off schedule, the records off last year. That's how they determine the easiest schedule. Yeah. I mean, there could be a team that takes off, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it could change everything.
How do you feel about the schedule, Julian? I know you were planning to go to Jacksonville. We were planning to go to Jacksonville, but it seems like we have to go to.
We all got fucking blue balled off the game because we were supposed to see Jaguars versus Dolphins. And I remember the day before the schedule released that the Jaguars and the Atlanta Falcons announced that they'd be having a home game, which I was like, a fucking course. I was hoping that Shad Khan would forget and he wouldn't do one. But I was like, whatever. Just please don't be the Dolphins game. Please don't be the Dolphins. Yeah. And I didn't think it would be too, because it's an interstate game. And usually like for the Dolphins games, a lot of Dolphins fans go out to those games. Because I've been to one or two. Because before the Jaguars were a franchise, a lot of fans were Dolphins fans or Buccaneers fans. So there's a good amount of like homegrown Dolphin fans there, and also ones that just travel. So I was like, all right, that's gonna be like, there's no way they're gonna like not do that one. Like they might do like maybe the Jets, like, or something like that. But turns out like a schedule comes out, and next thing you know, boom, Dolphins Jaguars games. Like, you gotta be fucking
take that international flight, baby. We're gonna fly to London. Come on, let's get a rental.
We going to London? It's not gonna be the same though, man. You're not gonna get the. What was that?
You're probably have to quarantine over there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't. And then it's like, I don't know, it's not even gonna feel like a home game. I feel like a lot of people there, it's just there actually is, like, over the years, because we've had a game there every year for the past 8 years except for last year, and there is like they're developing a fan base over there, but it's not the same, dude. It's like being like in Duval and like hearing the chant, and like it wouldn't be the same. Like it feel like I'm at a away game.
So now the schedule came out, Julian. As far as the Jags, who are you looking forward to? Like, who do you think is going to be your toughest on the schedule, or what game are you looking forward to that you want to watch?
I think here, let me pull up the whole thing. I think our beginning part is pretty good. I really like the first quarter of the games. I'm trying to pull it up now.
Destin, you can think on it now, because the thing I think I'm probably looking for as far as the Dolphins is probably the Bills, because obviously the Bills they went to the AFC Championship. They lost obviously, but they're probably the toughest team. They're gonna probably run for a while, as long as what's his name, Josh Allen's still there.
Got to worry about New England, man. New England's coming back.
Yeah, we're actually going against Brady this year. We're in Tampa. But I'm planning on going to that game, so
that'd probably be. That game. Is that here?
That's in Tampa, actually.
Oh, it's in Tampa?
Yeah.
But still, in-state rivalry, I mean, whatever.
Damn, so the Dolphins are playing Tampa and Jacksonville.
Yeah, in the same season.
All right, so yeah, like the first few, like I feel really good about like our first games. We should set up really well, like Texans, Broncos, Cardinals, Bengals, Titans, Dolphins. Like those first 6 weeks, I feel really good about, and I think we can come above 500.
That Titan game, man, that's gonna be a good one.
I'm not scared of the Titans, bro. I'm not scared of the fucking Titans. Yeah, I think do we all face each other? I think the NFC, I think the AFC East and the AFC South face each other. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I think we play Atlanta later, sometime.
Yeah, So you guys are all. Yeah, so you guys are all going to play Titans, Colts, Jags, and Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence is going to be really good. And honestly, Tua versus Trevor Lawrence, 2019 championship game rematch. See if Tua can get revenge on Trevor Lawrence.
You got Brady back at New England also too. That's another good game. That's like week 4, I think.
Yeah, I think that's actually I think they play week. No. There's some games that are like week 1 where they're like straight up doing like rivalries.
I'll actually pull up. Let's
pull up week 1. I know. Let's talk about week 1 only. Like we don't have to go through the whole schedule, but like just week 1.
I just have like the biggest matchups that like NFL.com article has is like the biggest matchups, and I'll like games to watch. The first ones, they have Cowboys Buccaneers week 1. I don't really think that. I mean, it's the first game of the season, but Buccaneers are going to spank that ass, dude. Like, you tell me, like, the Cowboys, they have no defense. Dak Prescott's going to be running for his life on his damn peg leg, and he's like,
that's the first game back. That's not a good one.
Yeah, like, there's no way like that. All right, now this one is going to be interesting depending on who plays. Green Bay at San Francisco, week 3. This Trey Lance play, Gabe?
Trey Lance, I think he will start.
You think he'll start? You think Garoppolo?
I think Jimmy Garoppolo has played his last game in San Francisco.
Wow, big statement.
He's played his last game.
Is that a guarantee?
You heard it first.
I mean, I'm not gonna guarantee anything because guess what?
Are you breaking news?
Car accident He can get a car accident and tear his femur or some shit. So I'm not gonna guarantee anything. All right, just like what's called in the press conference. Wasn't that Kyle Shanahan who was like, I can't guarantee anybody's gonna be alive.
Yeah, you know, that was like the greatest like just cop out answer. Like, yo, so you heard it here first. Gabe's breaking news. Garoppolo's playing his last game.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know what's gonna happen.
All right, well, on the other side of that, did Aaron Rodgers play his last game as a Packer? Will Aaron Rodgers go to Denver?
Des, what do you think about that? How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay?
I mean, I don't know if you saw the reports. It started since last year. I don't know. Let me ask you this: if you were in their position, would you fire your GM?
Would I fire the GM
to keep Aaron Rodgers? Let me ask you that.
I would fire the GM to keep a future Hall of Fame quarterback happy and to keep him on my team.
How many years do you think has left in him?
Oh man, he's got a couple years, bro.
He's got like 6, I think. I think he's got like 6. He's 36 right now.
Yeah.
So
he bounced back off a bad year. So the previous year, not this past year, the year before, he had a bad year, kind of a down year, and people are like, oh, you know, that doesn't have help or whatever. And this past year, he had actually a pretty good season.
But the thing too is like his bad year that year wasn't even like, it was bad for Aaron Rodgers. Like he even said it. He's like, my bad year is other people's career year. Like he's like.
So what I'm saying is, if you want to keep him, if you think he's worth it, hell yeah, I'll fire the GM. But if you kind of, you know, the problem with them is the GM is they signed him to I think they restructured his contract and signed him to a bigger contract. And then the next year they went and drafted Jordan Love. Like, why would you put him to a big contract, say, oh yeah, I believe in you, Aaron Rodgers, you're a quarterback for the future, and then draft a quarterback first round and not even a quarterback that everybody's like, oh yeah, you need to go and get him.
You traded it wasn't up too. They traded up. They went up like 5 picks too.
Nah, he wasn't worth that.
Bro, if you're trading up for Trevor Lawrence, I get it. If you're trading up for fucking
Trey Lance,
Herbert, or you know somebody actually turned out good, I'm like, okay, I get it. But you trade up for Jordan Love, which by the way, I think I heard Jordan Love hasn't even suited up. Like he hasn't suited up for any preseason because they did COVID shit and they did everything virtual as far as virtual workouts and whatever. If you try to Google a picture of Jordan Love in a Green Bay Packers uniform, it's all fucking Photoshop. There's no actual picture of him on the field wearing a Green Bay Packers.
And Green Bay just signed Blake Bortles, so that shows how much they believe in Jordan Love.
So going back to your original question,
so it's
more security blanket. Just so you know how Houston's going on right now. Like Deshaun Watson's not going to play this year. So
yeah, they got who'd they get? They got Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, okay.
They got Tyrod Taylor, and then they just drafted the dude out of Texas A&M in the second round.
So. Yeah, so they're just getting security blankets because they don't know how their season's going to be like. Because Deshaun Watson's definitely not playing this year after all those allegations stuff like that. So
I wonder. So, apparently, there's teams still after him though. Apparently, they're talking about people still looking to get him.
That's risky because guess what? Besides his legal implications, whatever, if something comes out, we've seen players get suspended 4 games, 5 games. Do you really want that trade for him or do something,
to get him? And then money.
He's going to be suspended 8 games or whatever, half the season or something.
No, I'm saying too the money too.
Yeah. Like you don't pay him though if he's suspended. I think no.
I don't know how that worked out.
I don't know how that. I mean,
I'm saying trying to acquire him, giving up a first round for Deshaun Watson or giving up whatever. Like you don't even know if he's going to play. Like this guy might be arrested in jail. And you're gonna like trade for him? Like he's too risky. He was okay. Like that trade risk was, trying to trade for him or whatever was possible before all that news came out. But like now that you hear all that shit, it's like, yo, he is fucking toxic. He's fucking uranium, Chernobyl. Do not touch.
Well, apparently the reason why people are trying to trade for him now, though they weren't, but now there's like talks of trying to get him now because something came out that like the cases might get settled soon or something like that. So that's why people are looking to get him. I don't know, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of capital, dude, to get for him.
You might be 1 or 2, but when 20 people come out,
that's
that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot, dude.
There's a lot, dog. It's not worth it, bro. Not worth the trade. So, Destin, going forward, like, what do you think of the chances as far as we're talking about Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay? I mean, do you think there's a chance that the Dolphins try to trade before the season starts to get him in the Dolphins uniform? Like, because we got first round picks. You know what I mean? We got Tua. He's first rounder. What you think about that?
Yeah, I don't see him coming to Miami. I mean, if he comes to Miami, that'd be a great fit. I don't think we'll be a Super Bowl contender, but I don't see him coming to Miami because
I don't think Brian Flores.
I think there's
wants
other teams out there. Like I think they were saying Denver was like probably the best suit for like money wise. They have the cap for him. And the Dolphins, I don't even know if they have the cap for him. But yeah, they do have a bunch of picks. They could leverage that all out. But does he even want to play for Miami? So I don't know.
I think the weather's nicer.
As of right now, it's like the only team that doesn't really have a quarterback and has the space to get one is really Denver. Like like everybody else is kind of set. Like I mean, and Brian Flores has made it clear that he's sticking with Tua. Like you want to see next year, we'll see depending on how he does this coming season. Like then you think about it, but like I mean, I think Denver really wants Aaron Rodgers though. I think if you had a choice between Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson, you're getting. I do
not believe in Drew Luck. I think Drew Luck sucks. I think
dude, they don't believe in him. They got Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy B.
They got some good players, and I heard something. Maybe they trade Jerry Jeudy to Green Bay and some picks and some stuff for Aaron Rodgers. But they have some talent on wide receiver. But I think Denver sucks as far as offensively. They're like, in my opinion,
they're actually like their team itself is not that bad. They got a solid defense, and they have a serviceable offense. Like they just drafted that guy from North Carolina who's supposed to be like the third best running back. They got Jerry Jeudy. They just picked up a corner in the first round. Who else is there?
You got Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton's they got a serviceable, and they got a really good offensive line. They have a pretty serviceable team. They just really need a quarterback. Drew Lock was just inconsistent. But thing is, when Drew Lock was playing well, they're a pretty good team, but he's just inconsistent, and that's why they got Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe he can revive him.
He had like a Tebow moment, when he was doing good at the end of the year, and then.
Speaking of Tebow, Tim Tebow.
Oh god.
He retired as a Mets Hall of Famer from AAA baseball.
Never suited up.
In the news that obviously the Jags got a new coach in what's his name from UF? What's his name?
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, obviously.
Ohio State.
Urban Meyer. There's rumors going around that Urban Meyer does want Tebow. I think he lives in Jacksonville still, right? He still has a house there.
They live right next to each other. Urban Meyer just got a house down the street from Tim Tebow.
Wow.
In the same neighborhood.
Right there.
Big in the news. Do you think Tim Tebow will sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Julian.
It looks like he is. I mean, from everything, I mean, it looks like Urban Meyer just wants him in the building, like one way or another. I think from all accounts, Tim Tebow seems like a really nice guy. Like to look at him as like a person. He seems like a really nice guy, a leader. He's charismatic. He's like he can push people and motivate people. I just don't think he's like the greatest talent. I don't think he's super talented to be like a professional player in baseball or football. But I think Urban Meyer it's kind of like a son to him. There's like a little bit of nepotism in there. And I think he just wants him in there. And I think maybe this could lead to a coaching thing. Maybe like I heard something somewhere else, one of the shows on ESPN, and it's kind of a good point. It's like, what if this is just a way to like get Tebow in the building, which can then eventually lead him to be a coach? Because maybe Tebow wouldn't have quit baseball to be a coach, but he would quit for a shot to play in the NFL again. So that could be possible.
I mean, go ahead, Dustin. What are your opinion?
Go ahead, go for it.
I was gonna say, I mean, as far as like getting him in the building, I understand there's a connection there. You like him, he lives there already, and I understand like with Tim Tebow getting out of baseball, maybe he still feels like, man, I never really fulfilled. He was like fantastic college player, great college player. Went to NFL, had to restructure the way he throws because he was throwing very awkward, whatever. He had a big playoff moment. I mean, I think they beat the Jets or the Pittsburgh Steelers. He beat the Steelers, right?
The Steelers.
In the playoff game.
Steelers.
He beat Steelers in the playoff games to go to move on to the championships. But I understand from his perspective, maybe he still wants to play. Like, man, I really didn't accomplish what I want to accomplish. I still want to play football. That's perfectly fine. And if you got that connection already, where Urban Meyer, you live down the street from him, it's your hometown. You still got that itch. Go ahead, do your
My
your
one thing though,
Witten.
bro. My one thing, dude, is like the man hasn't played on the field in an actual game in 8 years. 8 fucking years, dude. That's a long time.
Have you seen his film? They were showing on ESPN him lined up as a tight end, right? And
they're showing it. I haven't seen any footage yet.
So they were talking about it when he was when he was on the Jets. And like, oh, he's like, because they're making a big deal.
Oh, you're talking about that one play he did for the Jets?
Yeah. He threw the ball. He got scared. Looking at the ball. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a waste of a roster spot to me. And like, I feel like you said, yeah, he should go towards a coaching position. Like there's so many positions on a football team. There's definitely a position for him to be like an inspirational person, in the And then reports are saying that like people in the Jacksonville don't even want him on the team. So
yeah, in the organization, I'll tell you this much: like from growing up and living in Jacksonville during that whole Tebow era, people love Tim Tebow in Jacksonville, and it's something people don't understand. If you don't live in Jacksonville, people love him. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is just like a marketing stunt just to get people to the games and buy Tebow jerseys. Because he went to Tebow was actually raised in the same neighborhood I grew up in. Like he was like a couple blocks down from where I lived as a child. And then he went to high school there. He played football in UF, which Jacksonville is a huge UF fan base. Then he's from there and everything. And then when he was offered to get traded from the Broncos, he had a choice between the Jets and the Jaguars. And like people wanted him to come to Jacksonville. There was protesters outside the stadium saying get Tebow and all this stuff. It was a big deal. And like bringing Tebow in you're clearly doing it for the fans. And I think part of himself too wants to play for his hometown team. But I mean, then again too, it's like, we literally don't have a tight end. Like we don't have a single, like our tight end number 1 on the depth chart has only 60 catches in the NFL in 8 seasons. Last season he only caught 10 passes. His name is James O'Shaughnessy. Only caught 10 passes last year, and that's our number 1 tight end.
What college did you go?
O'Shaughnessy? I have no idea where he went as college. But it's
like, I feel like here's the thing with Tebow, man. If you're gonna make him, you want him, I guess, to be your quarterback's coach. I guess make him the team chaplain. I guess I don't know. I don't know what he has to offer. I feel like he's pretty good. Like I understand for him internally, like he might have that urge to still play football. Like man, I still want to play the game. But like, bro, you can be on. He's done College Game Day, and he seems pretty fine on TV. Bro, you can make money on TV and not even have to get hit. You just go show up to the game. People clap, they cheer for you, sign a couple autographs, talk on TV for like 5 hours. Watch college games and then go home and you make an easy check, man.
All right,
like there's
yeah, but Tim Tebow's a competitor though. He loves being in the game. I think that's why he went to baseball. When he got kicked out of the NFL, he went to baseball just to compete. But do you think though, if he would have switched to tight end like everybody was telling him to 8 years ago, if he would be successful?
I don't
know. You never know because
I think he would have left earlier.
Well, he would have never done it, but like that's the reason why he left. But like, I mean, my big thing is the blocking. He could probably go out there and run some routes and catch a ball, but blocking, dude, I think he's going to get his shit rocked. Like, he
could have been Taysom Hill before Taysom Hill, but you know what?
He might come in and like goal line packages and just be like a wildcat and just like pull in there and like have him run at fullback. Like, I mean, you could probably utilize. You can utilize him. I think the thing is like people saying take away from like a roster spot. Like realistically, like what spot are you taking away from somebody? That the person you're taking away is a bum, anyways. Like if you're the 53rd worst player on the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're a bum and you probably shouldn't be in the league, anyways. So it's like. I mean, there's some tight ends on our roster that literally have never even played a snap. So it's like, I've been back and forth on this because it's like, I mean, why? Like, we could like get, go after like Zach Ertz or something who looks like he might get traded from Philly, which we might still. Like, obviously, I think Urban Meyer even came out saying that like, even if we sign Tim Tebow, this doesn't mean we're settling the tight end position. I think we're not getting Tebow and it's like, all right, tight end position solved. Like, I think he's going to be there and just kind of be like, maybe just like
a couple plays,
a gadget guy, just like a gadget guy. Which I think, if he can come in there and be a gadget guy, that's better than having the 53rd worst player on the roster who doesn't even suit up every week. Like, that's the way I look at it, I guess. But
all right, I think that's pretty much it for NFL. We'll keep you updated coming up. We'll talk about it as if there's any more trades or things going on. I want to transition into NHL playoffs because NHL playoffs is about to start. Destin, did the schedule come out already? They're officially playing on what? Did they come out already with the?
Let me pull up the bracket. Let me see.
Yeah, the Panthers actually play this Sunday, 7:30, and then they play again Tuesday and Thursday. So it's like every other day, and then the first 2 games are here in Sunrise, and then they play against Tampa. So they'll be in Tampa 2 games after that.
Oh, Tampa! Oh,
yeah. Obviously, Tampa, the Tampa Bay Lightning, champs. They are the reigning champions. They won last year, and this is kind of a fun in-state rivalry because the Florida Panthers are finally good. Like it's been I think Julian, you said the last time they were in the playoffs was like 2016. But
2016, and they barely made it. I remember them. They were like an 8 seed.
They lost in game 7.
That's hockey for you. That's hockey. Yeah. Hockey's one of those sports, man, where it really doesn't matter what your ranking is. It's like it's anybody's game. Like
so it's a fun in-state rivalry, and obviously with COVID going on, they've kind of kept it just the games in between divisions. So we're in the Central Division with Tampa Bay, with Carolina, with was it the Panthers? Not the Panthers. I'm thinking of not the Sabres. Anyways, and Predators. So this is gonna be a fun the Predators. There you go, Nashville Predators.
Sabres.
I was like the cat, the yellow cat. I actually kind of like them because they have PK Subban, and he's kind of my favorite player. So Tampa Bay, they've been playing pretty hot. Actually, they played. I think the last game they played Tampa Bay a couple times, and I've been watching probably that close. Probably I've been watching that the most, more than baseball, more than NBA is the Panthers. So Destin, I was kind of thinking of like what you think about this rivalry, any games you see, and like kind of who your favorite players and what you're looking forward to coming this playoffs.
Honestly, I'm really more excited for the Panthers to be in the play. I've been kind of dying for them to be back in the playoffs. That 1 year they lost in 2016, Game 7, I was kind of disappointed. But I think they'll upset them. Or well, they're at a higher seed, but like Julian said, the seed is. I think they'll beat them this time around.
Think about that. Like in basketball, how often do you see an 8 seed go to Game 7 or 7 seed go to Game 7? Like hockey's one of those where it's like when the playoff starts, it's a brand new season, brand new.
Like they played them back to back this past week, and they blew them out. I think 4-0, and then like 5-3. And like one of those games, they actually had a brawl. That was pretty fun to watch. But I don't really have a favorite player or anything like that. Not that I can remember. But I don't know. I see out of the entire bracket, I would say the Las Vegas Knights are probably going to win it.
You think so? Okay.
But interesting.
I'm going with Florida.
Yeah, I feel like going forward, the Florida Panthers have been playing pretty well. We have a pretty good team. Like every one of the lines, because they play 5 guys at a time. So every kind of line, they have the guys that shine out. I think obviously, our best forwards are forwards, I guess you would say. The main shooters are like Huberdeau and Barkov. Those are like the 2 favorite guys. Like I think Huberdeau is definitely like probably the more skilled, and he's had a fantastic season this year. But we got some guys, man, some defensemen. Like the team is pretty good. Like I've been very excited, especially since we've been playing in-house. They've all been kind of since the beginning of the season. It's all been kind of playoff games. So like now is the official playoff that we actually start. And the last couple of games that I saw, like you said, Destin, they wanted to get like into fight. They got a couple of fights, and I feel like it's one of those things where like, especially the last game, like the Tampa Bay Lightning, they were more interested in fighting or like playing rough than actually trying to win the game because like you said, they got outscored a couple games, and it's like, yo, y'all here trying to fight. It was like they're trying to win the game. Like y'all go ahead and fight because there was one game. Oh no, that was another game. That was another game I was watching. The Rangers versus the Capitals, where it was like 10 people. They fought right off the. Did you see that game?
No, I didn't see
at
that.
all. Yeah. Oh, there's one where Tom Wilson, who's like a noted bad guy, he plays on the Capitals, and he's a goon, man. He roughs up guys. He's
the enforcer.
Yeah. He's a goon.
enforcer.
He hit a guy, and the NHL didn't suspend them. So then when they played again, they played the Rangers, and there was a straight out brawl. Like the first like 4 seconds, there was 3 fights. I think like 5 people went into the fucking penalty box. It was hilarious. Anyways, but I am looking forward to the Florida Panthers. Going forward, I think this is like one of the pretty good teams. Like I said, the last time I remember was like in 94, 95. I was a little fucking kid. I was like 8 years old playing fucking coach pitch or some shit. When they were actually good. It's the first like game I went to. They were throwing, fucking rats on the shit, octopus on the fucking.
I think they still do that. They still do that.
Yeah. I mean,
the rats.
I haven't been to a game in like a couple of years now, but yeah. I think
that's when it was lit. I was at the height of it.
Are we going to a playoff game? I'm down to go.
I do want to go to a playoff games. I told Destin, because Destin lives in fucking Sunrise pretty much. I know he's gonna say Cooper City, but you live in fucking Sunrise. To me,
why you put my location out there like that?
No, I know you're gonna fucking say it. I know where you live, but whatever. So I definitely want to go to a game. I'm gonna hit up JoJo because
he said he was down. I talked to him. He said he was down. I think it'd be fun to go to, especially Tampa game. There's probably a lot of fans that'll come down. Tampa fans. Yeah.
So obviously, very exciting. South Florida's team is hot.
Colorado might be the favorite to win it all. Colorado looked really good this year.
Are you looking at the sports betting?
No, I'm looking at the.
That up?
I can actually do that. Yo, are we putting cash on the Panthers?
I mean,
speaking of sports betting, have you seen that there's huge progress towards legalizing sports betting in Florida?
Yeah, I saw that. They're gonna start leaning
through Hard Rock. Everything has to be done through the Seminole tribe, which seems a little shady. Like they're the only people that can do that. Shit seems super shady.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because I guess it's all like legalese.
Like nobody can.
It's not like the Marlins can do it themselves, because technically I think they would have to like register as a fucking gambling casino, and that's
but there's no other sports books. Yeah. Only the Seminole Hard Rock are the only ones that are allowed to do it. Like FanDuel, DraftKings, Barstool, like none of those guys, which makes it seem a little shady. And apparently, the Seminole tribe's going to pay the state of Florida $500 million a year for the rights, which is shit ton to the state of Florida, and they're estimating to make $6 or $7 billion a year. And it's like, shit, dude, the Seminole tribe, they're loaded. And then I went down this whole rabbit hole. Apparently, like, if you're a part of the tribe, like, I think there's like 4,100 members or something. Even as a child, every year you're guaranteed to get paid out in $140,000 in dividends every year. So kids come out at 18 as millionaires if you're part of Seminole.
You need to be a full brute. You can't be like a half like Indian, like a half like
whatever. You have to be like a member in their council. Yeah, you have to be like full bloodline.
I mean, you get a check. You get a check every month when you're a Seminole. Because my mom used to work at a bank, so she told me every first of the month the Seminoles will come in, cash in their that like check they got. So.
Yeah, why are you telling me where your mom works, yo? Why are you telling me where your mom works?
I didn't say where
No, well, you know the Muskogee tribe down by the Everglades? They Miccosukee. When I used to work at the mall by there, Dolphin Mall, you can always tell when they came in, because one, they have kind of a distinct look, they don't look Hispanic, and then also like these kids, bro, they would come in with stacks. Like, I mean, I would never forget this teenage boy came in to buy a skateboard, and I saw him sitting here just like counting hundreds, like just like they get fucking banked, dude. And that's just the Muskogee tribe. That let alone how much
Mississippi.
I don't know, man.
Mississippi.
And then
but all that gambling shit. I mean, obviously we have those two tribes that are huge in Florida. And I'm pretty sure that Disney is probably in on that too, because I'm sure they're gonna want to get into betting and gambling. But that's like political shit. Obviously, they already have a hold down here as far as gambling in Florida, and they're not gonna want to allow like any Las Vegas or any New York or any other
sports book
foreign country, any Bovada, any other the other sports books that come in. They're gonna want to
FanDuel. I was really hoping for FanDuel, but I mean, hopefully that Hard Rock app is good. Like, I really hope it's like a easy to use thing. Right now, the Panthers are plus 1.5 to Tampa's minus 1.5. So Tampa's the favorite going into this.
Obviously, being the reigning champions.
Yeah.
So this is our championship. Honestly, we're going against the champions, and this is our championship as far as the Florida Panthers.
Hey, Gabe, doesn't the Panthers have a couple players that were hurt that are expected to come back? They're
Ekblad hurt his knee, so he got I forget what game it was against, but it was a couple months ago now. He did injure his knee, and he was going to be out for 12 weeks. I think he must have had some microscopic surgery or something, because they're like he could come back in the playoffs. And he's probably our biggest, most scoringest defenseman. He's a veteran player. He's really good as a defensive man. He scores a lot, and defensive men, you're not really supposed to score. You're supposed to just defend and stay back. But he's one of our strong big players, but he's obviously been out with a knee injury. But they're saying hopefully he can come back. I don't know what's up with his rehab. I haven't heard any news with it, but he's definitely a big player, like a veteran player, that they're gonna want to come back. But there's still guys in there, man. They have Duclair, you have Vitrano. We got some guys, man. We got some guys. And
Tampa's the favorite to win the series, minus 162 to Panthers plus 130.
Okay, that's decent. 162. That's decent.
Think about that.
I'll put the money on the Panthers. That's easy money. Plus 130.
I didn't do it.
So we'll see going forward as far as NHL news. NHL popping off with the playoffs. But let's talk about the NBA, because NBA playoffs are about to start right now. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat clinched a couple games ago. I've watched the game when they played the Celtics, and I watched the game when they played last night the 76ers. And last night against the 76ers, obviously the Heat have been trying to battle the way up, because with the NBA playoffs, I think the bottom, what was it, the 6 to 10, they had to do the play-in game, right?
7 to 10.
So obviously the Miami Heat have been trying to play up and trying to get up higher in the rankings, with obviously the top teams being the 76ers, I think it's number 1, the Bucks, the Nets, and they're trying to fight for that 4, 5, 6 seed. And I think they fucking blew the Celtics out the water the other game. I think they scored like 70 points. It was the first time that the Celtics gave up 70 points since like 19.
Yeah, the Heat have been on a little bit on a run after playing pretty bad.
Yeah,
they've been on a little bit of a run.
Celtics were injured. Yeah, I think the Jaylen Brown got injured. He injured his hand or something. He's out for the season. So they only had Tatum. They had Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker was shooting pretty lights out. But still.
So the Heat are locked in. They don't have to. They clinched not doing the play in. Yeah. They're clinched at 5th or 6th or 4th.
Or 4th, yeah.
As of right,
I think they're projected to go. Well, they have 2 games left, and then but I think they have like the easiest schedule, the Hawks, and we're a half a game behind. So if we win that, we should get the 4th seed. I think.
It looks like no matter what, you're playing the Hawks.
Yeah.
Unless New York, unless they lose and New York wins, then you're either playing the Hawks or the Milwaukee.
Yeah. So I was hoping that the Hawks will lose, and then the Knicks we'll play the Knicks.
That's true too.
I'll be in New York and play the Knicks, hopefully.
So the top 3 teams in the East obviously is 76ers, Nets, and the Bucks, and then the 4, 5, 6 is the Heat, the Knicks, and the Hawks. And the only thing I see is that nobody wants to drop to that number 6, because if you're playing number 6, that means you're probably going to play Milwaukee. I think you played the Bucks first.
You're guaranteed to play Milwaukee. Yeah, you're going.
And then you have to go to Philly after that.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry.
You have to go to Brooklyn.
So if you're the Heat, if you're the Heat, you want to stay in that 4-5 category, because the 4 plays the 5. And obviously, we'd rather play first round. We'd rather play the Knicks or the Hawks first, instead of playing fucking the Nets or the Bucks. So Destin, have you been watching the games, and what do you think about the Heat as far as them playing? We could talk about the game that they had last night if you want to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching all the games like lately. They're like turning it up on like the perfect time, like towards the end of the season, so like it carries on to like the playoffs.
They're on a 4-win streak right now, 8-10 in the last 10 games.
And they played some good teams. They played Boston. They're underrated than what their record doesn't show what they actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the beginning of the game, the beginning of the year, because they're out with like COVID and shit and injuries. Jimmy Butler was out along, Dragic was out, Tyler Hero was out, so they weren't at the first like 10, 15 games. They were not playing full roster. So those 10, they went out to whatever.
Oladipo's out for this season, right?
Yeah, he got surgery on.
He got surgery
when they played the Celtics. Actually,
damn, traded that guy. Next day, he fucking gets hurt.
Yeah, he only played like one game, I always saw him play one game. I saw the game that he got injured. I think they're playing the Pacers or somebody. It was a non-contact injury, but
they can push for the conference championship. I think if they're all healthy and they all click, they can repeat what they did last year. I think.
If they stay in this side of the bracket, if they fall to the 6, it's gonna be harder because they have to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah,
I definitely they can beat Milwaukee and was it the
Philly?
76ers? Yeah, Philly. But
yeah, I think they match
Philly
up pretty
can't
well.
Show up in the playoffs, man. They never can show up in the playoffs.
No.
And obviously, let's talk about the game last night because last night they played the 76ers, and it was the last home game, last Miami home game of the season. Last time they're gonna wear the Vice jerseys because they don't wear Vice jerseys or any of the City Edition. They wear the regular white and red.
They're retiring it. They're not doing it anymore. Yeah.
So it was the last Vice game, last home game, and obviously, was it the first 4 minutes or
the MVP of the Heat?
MVP of the Heat, yes.
The MVP of the Heat.
They put in Udonis Haslem to go up.
Best field goal percent of the year.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
They put up Udonis Haslem up against the 76ers, Tobias Harris, and your Dwight Howards and your Joel Embiids. Now, apparently Joel Embiid was playing and he had the fever and he was sick. Excuses, okay? Because my man, when he was playing against Bam Adebayo, I think when Bam Adebayo was defending Joel Embiid, I think Joel Embiid only scored 2 points defending. I don't know how he got him. I think he got 6 points on the night, but I think he probably got 2 points playing against Bam Adebayo or something like that. It was something ridiculous. Some ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
But obviously there was a spat. Udonis Haslem's come in the game for like 3 or 4 minutes. He goes up to I guess the defender rebound on offense. Dwight Howard swipes him back, pushes him backwards. Rudy looks up. He gets up. He's like, okay. And then they go down the court. I think there was a quarter foul off the ball foul. And UD gets in Dwight Howard's face, puts it up his face. I don't know if he was touched, but he was close enough at some angles. It looked like he was touched. It was a big skirmish. What's up?
Did you read his lips? It was pretty funny. You can like just read.
He said, "I'm gonna punch you in your fucking face." He said, "I'm gonna punch you in your fucking face." That's what he said. And so Dwight Howard, obviously, okay, so he plays like 4 minutes, puts up like 4 points or something, 2 points, and 2 technical fouls. He gets ejected. And that was like kind of inspiring. I saw that shit, I was like, yes, this is my fucking UD. Hasn't played all season long. This is the only fucking 4 minutes all season he played.
MVP.
Okay. We're talking about Jordan Love with no pictures of him in a jersey. This was UD. This is just one time you see UD in a Heat jersey. He gets ejected after 4 minutes. Raz up. I think they put up almost 80 points in the first half, right? How many points did they put up in the first half, Dustin? Do you remember?
It was a lot. It was they're up by 20.
Yeah, they're up by 20.
It was a lot. It was like 60. I think it was like 60. It
was like 70 to 50, or like it was almost 80 points.
Yeah.
And then eventually Miami Heat win. 76ers look undefeated, and people are talking now, like, obviously with 76ers being number 1 seed, are they gonna be able to, like, are they as good as their record says?
They actually haven't clinched it yet. The first seed. Because Brooklyn's right.
They haven't clinched it yet. They're a game behind.
Yeah. If they won yesterday, then they would have clinched the first seed. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think Brooklyn's definitely is the number 1 seed when their team's healthy. But that 76ers team did not look.
They barely play together.
And that's another thing too, is that the Nets, they really haven't played together. Same thing with the Heat. They really haven't played together in full form. I think James Harden just came back a couple games ago.
He came out last night.
Last night?
Off the bench, yeah.
So obviously I think the Nets are the favorites. 76ers and the Bucks are strong, but I think the Heat match up strongly. They match up well. And if things will end up now, I think they'll end up facing the 76ers again in the second round if things stay as they are. But Miami Heat going into the playoffs, fighting for that 4-5 seed. I think we'll probably get the 5 seed, because Atlanta's up that half game. How far do we go in the playoffs, Destin? How far do we go, Destin?
I think we can get to the conference, depending on like where Brooklyn ends. If Brooklyn stays on that lower part of the bracket and we stay on that top part, because remember, Brooklyn and Philly can switch like that. So I think we can go to the conference, like you said. After that, it all depends on matchups against Brooklyn, how we're going to defend. I think like one of our best pickups this season was Trevor Ariza. He was kind of a little slow in the beginning, but he actually definitely, I think it was just He hasn't played basketball in like a while, I think. But yeah, I think he's like a really good defender. So he'll definitely match up against probably. I'm assuming he'll put James Harden on, or he'll cover James Harden. I don't know who else he'll cover, but yeah, I think we'll get to at least the conference.
All right, Julian.
Yeah, I think the same.
What's your feelings?
I think they, like I said, unless they run into Brooklyn in the semifinals, that's going to be tough. But I think they should clean up the first round, no problem. Whether it be the Milwaukee or Atlanta or New York, I think all three of those teams are beatable. And I think when the Heat are clicking and they're playing well, like if they can repeat what they did last year, I think they can make it to the conference finals. No big, unless they face Brooklyn and Brooklyn has all three guys and everybody's out there and healthy, which they probably should be because you know how basketball can be. People are injured until the.
Yeah. And this is the same situation I had last year. We were like 4-5, and that last game when we played against the Pacers, we lost it at the last game because it was like a throwaway game. So it really didn't matter like home court advantage because it was the bubble. You know, we were 4, and then we lost the game, went to 5. So we were going the same route basically like we did last year. So I think we'll be around that same time, hopefully.
Well, let's look at the other side of it, other Western Conference. Right now, Utah just clinched the number 1 seed. Then below that's Phoenix at 2, Los Angeles Clippers at 3, Denver at 4. Dallas has clinched the 5th seed, and then Portland is 6, but they haven't clinched it yet. It's between Los Angeles Lakers and Portland. Whoever gets in the play-in game, and then Golden State, Memphis, and San Antonio have clinched the play-in bracket.
Yeah, I think those bottom whatever 7, 8, 9 are pretty bad. I think those top 6 teams are probably the stronger teams. If I had
the Lakers
are still fighting in.
Lakers are fighting. 7 because LeBron's crybaby ass is talking about, well, we gotta have the play-in game. After last year, this guy was saying that the play-in game was a good idea because he wasn't a part of it. You know, it didn't affect him, but now that it affects him, he's all up and tight and he's pissed off after he's not played in like 3 months and he comes back to play against the damn Houston Rockets, the worst team in the league.
So they're gonna sneak into the. I think they're actually gonna get out of that play-in game because they actually have 2 games, and the Blazers
depends
have 1 game left. Because the Blazers played Denver, so if Denver rests their players that last game, then the Blazers are gonna win that game. But
which they should.
They should.
It depends who the Clippers are playing because the Clippers would have to lose for Denver to go up to 3.
No, oh yeah, that's true. Well,
because they're a game behind the Clippers. So if the Clippers, depending on who they play, yeah, Denver's between 3 and 4. So
yeah, I mean, maybe the Lakers might be able to sneak in because they actually Portland lost last night, I think, to the Suns. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, but I think trying to see because the tiebreaker would be the conference.
The tiebreaker, Portland has a tiebreaker because they beat.
So Portland just needs to win tomorrow.
Yeah, but the Lakers have 2 games left, and they're only a half a game behind Portland, I think.
Yeah, so but you said Portland has a tiebreaker though, as of right now.
Yeah, but the Portland has a harder matchup. I'm saying though. I think
game over them because the way they do it is if you beat them in a regular season game, then you have advantage over them.
Yeah.
So even if they tie game, obviously the advantage goes over who won against each other.
Yeah.
I think LeBron's just scared to possibly face Steph Curry in Golden State. I think he's a little scared.
I mean, who do they have, man? Like, who does Golden State have? I know
it's either that or he just doesn't want to play in more games.
Like, I feel like LA is stacked, man. Like, even all through all the injuries and AD just came back, I feel like LA Lakers are still a contender, even though they're a fucking bottom seed and they might have to play in. I feel like they're still contenders. Like,
dude, I don't know. Like, if you had to play in, I don't know if you want to face Utah or Phoenix. Like, they're clicking, dude. Those 2 teams.
Phoenix is sleeper, I feel like.
They're click. I don't even know if you want to face the Clippers. Like, honestly, like if you're Los Angeles, the Lakers,
playoff Clippers, bro. They're gonna be like nobody.
That is true. Yeah.
They are the Knicks of the West. They're just a disappointment.
Yeah, you don't want to face Utah or Phoenix. I think that's tough, and I think Denver's sneaky good. I think Denver's better than what their seeding is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, they're only 4 games behind Utah, like realistically. So
I don't think
who you got
that high though. I don't think they're that high of a team though.
Who do you guys have coming out the West? Like, who do you think is the champions going to be, or who are your two favorite teams that you think you would like to see face each other? I don't know how the brackets work out, but let's say.
I mean, honestly, the Lakers are probably the favorite to get out.
Yeah,
they're the most proven team, defending champs. Like all these other teams are. I mean, Utah's not new, but they're like Utah's kind of been the past few years like a middle of the playoff type of team, but hasn't really made it super deep yet. Clippers, like you say, you can't really trust. Phoenix is a new team coming in there. Yeah, Lakers have to be the favorite. Golden State's not stacked enough. Portland seems like they can never have enough firepower to actually compete. So, and then Dallas, maybe. I don't know.
Dallas is like a semifinals like team, and
unless Luka can absolutely go off, I don't know.
Yeah, they can never get past that. They can never get to the conference championship like that.
They don't have enough firepower. They don't, and that's my biggest thing with the Heat too. I feel like the Heat. Well, to me, the Heat, I feel like doesn't have enough size. I feel like, and you saw it last year. I mean, they just got bodied. Yeah. Like you needed Jimmy Butler to go absolutely off to even win one game.
Yeah, like they don't have anyone to really back up Bam. I mean, yeah, they have Precious Achua and that new guy.
That's what happened when Bam was gone. Deadman? They were just they were done. And who are you gonna put on AD? Again, nobody else to put on AD.
No. I mean, you just got to put Bam because he's probably your best defender. Long, lanky, you can probably stay up with him. But...
all game,
yeah.
And now they have Drummond. Are you kidding me? Those two right there are just gonna play off each other. It's gonna be hard.
I mean, I'm just going to worry about the East Coast because I don't know. I would like to play Lakers again in a revenge game, but
I feel bad for Damian Lillard. I feel like he just never has a good enough team to make a push.
Yeah. Even when he does, someone gets traded or leaves his team.
I feel like the same thing is going to happen to Luka, in Dallas. Oh shit, we lost Gabe. What the hell? Gabe quit.
He's like, man, y'all keep talking about the East. Trying to talk about the West. Yeah, I agree with you on Luka. I feel Luka's just gonna. I don't know.
I mean, that's what happened to Devin. I can never remember if it's Brooker or Booker. Booker. Yeah, I feel like that's how he was for years. He never had a team, and now he's finally got. Now he finally has a team because I was surprised he didn't leave by then.
But, yeah, I mean, he got the money. That's why he's gonna leave after this contract. So sure, probably.
Not that he has a team. Depends how far they make it. I don't think he's gonna leave now that he has a team.
But yeah,
I think Lillard might leave. If I don't know when his contract's up, but I think he's out the second he has a chance.
All right, I wanted to bring up talk about these playing games because obviously there's something they're doing new coming out of the bubble. They decided to do this play games. It's kind of one game if you want to, one game to decide them all. Kind of what you guys think about it because
is it one game?
This is something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One game.
But the team that loses the 7-8 game gets an extra chance to try to get the 8 seed. They play the 9. So 7 and 8 play each other, right? And the winner of 7-8 becomes a 7 seed, and then the loser for that game plays the winner of the 8 and 9, and the winner of that game becomes the 8 seed.
Oh, I thought it was
just round robin.
I thought it was 7 goes against 10, not 8 goes against 9, and then the winners of those move on.
Yeah,
it's kind of like in round robin. I would play these tournaments when I was a kid, like these baseball tournaments, and we did play 2 or 3 days, and they had these tournaments where if you lose, you go into a loser's bracket, and the losers play, and then you try to fight your way back up to.
So San Antonio's done because San Antonio, the real competition is Memphis, Golden State, and Los Angeles. Really, Memphis and Golden State,
basically,
because they're so tied. How do you guys feel about the NBA trying to implement? Because obviously they're doing this for the first year. NBA trying to implement this playing round. Do you think that it's a good thing for NBA? Good thing for playoff basketball? Is it bad? Destin, what's your opinion of play-in rounds?
It's got pros and cons, I guess. But I mean, it's cool. It's like, well, what I heard about the other day is like, even if you make it to those play-in tournaments and you don't get into playoffs, you go right into the lottery. It doesn't count as the playoffs. Like you go right into the lottery, so it's pretty
sense.
cool in that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm kind of. I mean, my team hasn't been. I mean, knock on wood, he hasn't been in a position yet. So I mean, they got out. Yeah, I agree with LeBron. Like when you're not in that position, it's like, oh, it's cool. But then when you're not, when you are in that position, you're like, ah, oh, fuck this, man.
LeBron just doesn't want to play more games than he has to.
Yeah,
he's just.
It's true. Yeah, he's played all those games.
He didn't even play.
Yeah, I know. He's just trying to get to like
hurt.
the end, you know.
He was hurt and came back for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of iffy about it, but it's a cool concept. It kind of brings like that NCAA tournament like vibe to it, but it's a different thing. I don't know. I kind of like it.
Julian,
more competition, the better. The way I look at it, I think too. It really helps kind of weed out because like almost every year, like 7 or 8, there's always somebody below 500. Not this year in particular. Well, actually for the East, there probably will be. But for the West, no. But I think it kind of is like, you know what? If you're kind of below 500 and you can kind of prove yourself a little bit more. Maybe you just had like unfortunate injuries, or like things like that. You have players that come back. It could help. Like, say you just went on a bad like run, like the Heat did for a while. Like you just go on a bad run, but then you make a run towards the end, and then this is you're able to get the 10th seed. Then you can play in for a spot now, and you can kind of prove yourself because maybe some unfortunate things happen. This is now for you to get a chance. And I think too, it's kind of makes it a little bit more like hockey, where it's like, all right, this is a brand new season. Like, let's get in this. Like, this is like, anything can happen. And I think it can help the 7th or 8th seeds because then they can kind of get in this momentum in this role. And maybe we could start seeing more upsets. Maybe we can see a 7th seed knock out a 2 seed or an 8 seed knock out a 1 seed because they got that momentum in those extra couple games. And like, they're already kind of in playoff mode when 1 and 2, they've been kind of resting for a little bit. So like maybe it gives them a little bit more of an advantage and we can see more upsets. I think it just adds more competition.
Especially just around all sports because hockey, like you said, hockey implemented an expanded playoffs where they included more teams in the playoffs. Also baseball. The reason why the Marlins made it to the playoffs last year is because they beat the Cubs best out of 3. So usually the series go, best out of 7, and the first to four games wins, kind of like a regular playoffs. But since they expanded the playoffs, the Marlins went on a run. They just got hot at the right time, and they beat the Cubs, who were like, they were set to win. Like they were set to be up in the championship, and they just fucking upset the Cubs.
Well, I think wild card I think has always been best out of 3 or best out of 5 or something like that for baseball.
But the thing is, the MLB expanded it though, because the Dolphins. I mean, the Marlins wouldn't have been included the previous year, but because they expanded and trying to include more teams, they gave those borderline teams more of a chance to be in the playoffs. So I'm kind of excited for it. I think it's a new fun idea. It makes games more valuable. I think it makes the game more interesting in general, or even basketball, whatever, across all sports. Doing this playing game, it's like, yo, there's no fucking resting your guys. If you're on that borderline team, like you got to play your guys, like because, you're still you're fighting to fight another day. So I think it's exciting. It's like you said, it's fun when you're not involved. It's like, okay, yeah, you can do whatever. But once you're in, you're like, fuck, man, I gotta fucking win this one game just to get into the playoffs.
I think where it sucks is like if maybe you're a 7th seed and your 7th to 8 is a big gap, and it's like you want a lot more. Like San Antonio, for example. Like San Antonio is like 5 games behind, and it's like, fuck, we gotta play fucking an extra game against San Antonio, like just to get in. I can see where that could be like a little bit of a flaw, where you're like your game's ahead, but just because maybe your thing was a little bit more competitive, but like 9 and 10 are just shitter teams.
Yeah, but I think any plan to include more teams or. Because the regular season is so long, man. Basketball, it's not the longest, but it's still a very long season. And they do back-to-backs and do play West Coast teams, and that kind of stuff is like, I'm like, oh man, I'm not gonna stay up to play fucking watch a 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock start against whatever Portland or some shit. Like just me as an East Coast fan, I'm not gonna do that. I'm sure there's West Coast fans. Well, I guess it might be a little bit easier on the West Coast. But there's
Well, yeah, that's why the times like that. Otherwise, the games would be starting at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah. But to me, it makes it more interesting. And makes it more fun, more teams, just more interesting. Like it's more interest in the games. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's good for fucking sports betting, as far as like fucking Las Vegas and all these sports books.
Well, it's good for the NBA too. NBA is going to make more money.
And then, a lot of sports are becoming more friendly to sports betting stuff. So I'm sure we're going to see this expanded thing to, that improves the sports economy in general. I guess as teams become more friendly to sports betting and shit. But I'm down for it. I don't care, LeBron. Just be better than the other team. Show up.
Should have showed up, man.
Show up. Okay, stop.
I know I'm in the minority here, but like I always mess with JoJo. But God, I just find like LeBron just to be such a little crybaby bitch. Like I can't stand him. God, he drives me insane. I'm just as good as Jordan. I'm better than him. Shut the fuck up, dude. Like God, like.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it, man. I mean, we could talk about baseball. We could talk about soccer, but I'm not gonna talk about that because I'm not gonna bore you with the Marlins, even though I've been watching.
Yeah, it ain't that time, dude. They ain't. It's boring baseball time.
Yeah, baseball just started. What's up?
When are you gonna update that background though for us?
No, man.
I'm gonna buy you the new logo, bro.
He hates the new logo.
This is the only logo I like. This is the only logo I like. Okay, at first I didn't like it, but I've grown to love it, especially compared to the New Marlins hat. I do not like it. So
Gabe still calls them the Florida Marlins. Gabe refuses to say Gabe refuses to say Miami Marlins.
Hey man, that's teal. Don't let me get my shirt, bro. My shirt's over there. I bring my old shirt.
I love this logo. This is a classic logo right here.
Yeah, the classic, man.
The F.
It's so beautiful.
No more F. It's an M now.
I love when they bring the retro. Even all the Miami teams when they bring the retro jerseys out. Like, well, maybe not the Heat. I don't like the retro Heat. But
I hate the Florida ones. The ones
I
hate that one.
Yeah, that was I didn't like that one.
Bro, I don't know why the Jags have not done a throwback jersey. It drives me nuts. I've been wanting them to do a throwback jersey forever, and they've never done it. Like, I don't know why they don't do it. Because Tampa Bay does it, the Dolphins does it. Like, I want I want a throwback, old school Jaguar logo, like the old jerseys, like they used to wear back in like early '90s, early 2000s. Like, I want to see that shit. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah, the Dolphins one and like you said, the Florida Marlins one. Cause I think they're so beautiful, man. When they bring it out, make the old colors, I'm like, damn, yo, that's actually nostalgia for me because I actually like the old jersey. The Dolphins, I like the old Dolphins jersey before, but when they bring the Marlins, the Florida Marlins jersey back, I'm like, that's my nostalgia. That's what it was like when the fucking Marlins were fucking hot. When I went to the game, like I said, I was like a fucking little kid. I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, fucking playing baseball, going to the games.
I would say I actually like the old Dolphins logo more than the new one. I think I like the old Dolphins logo more.
The new one's too mean.
It's more football though. It's more football. Like it's got like I feel like the Dolphins logo now looks like it's like a part of some software company. Like I don't know,
for real.
Like versus like the one. It's like a football logo, man. It's got a little helmet
it's like
on him.
A dolphin's gonna deliver some food, like Uber or some shit. I don't know.
I first hated it. Then I kind of grew on to it. I'm like, it's whatever now to me. Like,
that's how I was with the Jags logo. I hated it at first, but now I was like, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But like
the Dolphins, shit, you appreciate the old shit.
The Buccaneers, those Buccaneers creamsicle jerseys.
That one I don't like.
God, those are ugly. Honestly, the Packer ones are pretty sick. They pull out like just like no colors, just like brown and like yellow. You ever seen those?
Blue and yellow? Isn't it blue and yellow?
Yeah, it's like blue with like a brown circle. Yeah. Or even the Patriots.
They go old school. They go like back to the fucking 1900s.
Yeah.
Patriots are pretty cool too. Not a lot of teams do throwbacks. Now I think about it, they should do more often. I think it'd be cool.
No, they do. They do like the city shit, or they do like
Arizona does them. I think
Jets does it. The Jets do, I think.
Yeah, the Jets
do it.
Yeah, they have their old retro New York Jets.
I know Arizona does it. Yeah, I'm surprised more teams don't do it though. There is a lot of teams that don't do it. The Rams do it.
The Rams do it.
The Falcons do it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, you don't have more teams that do, especially like the older teams.
Yeah.
Bills
But
do
we'll be
do it.
bringing
Yeah, the Bills do it a
the
lot.
yeah.
Actually, yeah, I forgot about that.
Actually, then their home jersey, I think is like kind of retro because the blue because it's a brighter red.
The
The
Eagles
white,
do
the
it?
white,
Yeah, the Eagles. They have that. Just like the
lighter
Eagle-
green. It's
like
a
the
lighter
actual.
green.
I
It's
didn't
a
know
lighter
the
green.
Eagles did it. I did not know
It's not
that.
a dark green.
and then it's like white, just pure white.
The Bears have just like an old school look about it. They
do gold. I
They've
think
been
the Bears
rocking
do
the same
gold.
shit.
Yeah, they do
I think
gold.
the Steelers
And...
one where it looks like they're in prison.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, the
I forgot
stripes.
about
Oh,
that.
those
The
are ugly,
stri-
bro. Those are fucking ugly.
It's like longest yard.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
What was it called?
And do you think?
Well, you know the Redskins aren't doing, or the Washington football team's not doing it. They
No,
can't.
their
do
retros are. They're wearing their retros right now.
Whatever their new team name might be, their retro's going to be the football team.
I don't think it's changing, bro. They haven't announced anything. Like it's been a year.
They
already.
didn't. No, but they put a poll out like to like Washington fans, Washington football team fans. Like they put a poll saying
rumors.
like which teams do you like? It was like recent. It was like a couple weeks ago.
Washington. I heard Washington Generals, Washington Red Tails,
Red Barons. Honestly, they all sound kind of whack.
That's all whack.
Red Barons.
Yeah, for real. People, they win the game, they throw the pizza on the fucking.
Whatever
field.
it is, it's gonna be red. But honestly, at this point, I'm already used to Washington.
Just keep it football team. Just keep it football team.
It's kind of like it has an old school feel to it. It's like, yeah, we're the Washington football team. Like it's just like it's kind of. Hey, but DCFC. DCFC.
Yeah. What if they had like Washington
DC football club?
Washington baseball team. That should be whack as fuck.
But man, I don't know.
Anyways, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We pretty much covered all sports. We'll bring you next week more football news, more NBA playoffs, more hockey playoffs. Probably we'll talk about baseball when JoJo comes here. He's probably gonna talk about his Yankees because they kind of got hot a little bit. I want to say thank you, Destin, for coming on, for being our third chair.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming out. Thank you to Julian. Real Fans Podcast, all the things: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Reddit, Craigslist. MySpace. Real Fans Podcast. We appreciate y'all coming out.
Tumblr.
We'll catch y'all next week, man. Peace.